happens. Next thing you know, I've hit two cameramen.
The director places a cheap gold-colored chain on the table. Across from him sits a bald, unknown man in his early 30s. He has never attended drama school. He has never performed Shakespeare. He has never carried a major film. In fact, only a few years earlier, he had been standing behind market stalls, persuading strangers to buy goods they probably did not need. The director pushes the chain forward. "Sell it to me." For most aspiring actors, this would be a strange audition. For Jason Statham,
country, no badge. You're gone. I'm gone.
It was familiar territory. He picks up the chain, studies the man in front of him, and begins talking. His voice becomes quicker. His confidence sharpens. Within seconds, an ordinary piece of jewelry has a history, a value, and a sense of urgency. The performance feels natural because, in one sense, it is not a performance at all.
Kill target on sight.
Guy Ritchie is not watching an actor pretend to be a London street seller. He is watching a real London street seller reveal the character he has spent years becoming. But the most important part of this story happened long before that audition high above a swimming pool, where Jason Statham learned that falling was easy, but controlling the landing could take a lifetime. Before the tailored suits, spinning kicks, and impossible car chases, Statham was chasing an entirely different dream. He wanted to become an Olympic diver, and he gave more than a decade of his life to it. Jason Statham was born in 1967 in Shirebrook, Derbyshire, and grew up in Great Yarmouth. Norfolk, his father Barry, worked as a street seller and also performed as a lounge singer. His mother, Eileen, was a dancer. Performance, movement, and hustle were already part of the household, but young Jason did not initially dream of becoming an entertainer. He was drawn toward physical competition.
Who put you up to this?
He practiced martial arts, played football, and became friends with footballer Vinnie Jones, but it was diving that captured him completely. From the outside, diving can appear graceful and almost effortless. A competitor climbs onto a platform, pauses for a few seconds, launches into the air, and disappears beneath the surface. But those few seconds are built from thousands of painful repetitions. A diver must generate power while remaining relaxed. He must know where his body is while rotating through empty space. He must make violent physical effort appear elegant. And when the water rushes toward him, he must enter at precisely the correct angle. A tiny mistake can destroy the entire dive. Imagine a teenage Statham arriving at a cold swimming pool early in the morning. The building is nearly empty. The lights reflect across the water, and the only sounds are footsteps, whistles, and sudden explosions of water. He climbs. He jumps. He lands badly.
He's a precision instrument.
Then he climbs again. No movie cameras, no cheering fans, no stunt coordinators, just repetition. Over time, his body begins to understand what his conscious mind cannot calculate quickly enough. The position of a shoulder, the speed of a rotation, the fraction of a second in which the body must open before entering the water. He becomes good enough to join Britain's national diving squad, remaining part of it for roughly 12 years. That detail matters. This was not a celebrity experimenting with a sport before discovering his real talent. Diving was his real ambition. It was the identity around which he organized his youth. He trained with Olympic hopes and represented England at the 1990 Commonwealth Games in Auckland, New Zealand. He competed in the 1-meter springboard, 3-meter springboard, and 10-meter platform events.
Go ahead and pump your own self. I'll be with you in a minute.
He did not win a medal. There was no dramatic announcement telling him the dream was over. No final opponent closing the door in his face. Athletic dreams often end more quietly than that. Another competition passes. Another team is selected. Another year disappears. The body gets older while younger athletes rise behind you. For years, Statham had been teaching himself how to fall perfectly. But there was no technique for the fall that followed. He never reached the Olympics. And when a person has spent 12 years pursuing one destination, losing it creates more than disappointment. It creates an identity crisis. The question is no longer, what will I do? It becomes, who am I without this? Picture an imagined moment after training. Statham sits alone beside the pool while another group of younger divers begins its session. Their coach gives instructions. One athlete climbs the platform he has climbed thousands of times. Nothing about the building has changed. But suddenly, it no longer feels like it belongs to him. That is the hidden cruelty of elite sport. The place that once made you feel exceptional can eventually continue without you as though you were never there. There was no multi-million-pound professional diving league waiting for him, no guaranteed media career, no obvious second act. So he did what he understood. He worked. He returned to the world he had grown up around: street markets, sales pitches, and survival. Statham sold goods on the streets of London, including jewelry and perfume. He learned how to attract a person's attention before they walked away. He learned how to create value with language. He learned when to smile, when to push, and when to let silence do the work. Some accounts describe the merchandise as questionable. Statham himself has spoken openly about selling goods in the street and using the fast, persuasive style of a market trader. This was not the glamorous beginning audiences might expect from a future Hollywood star. There were no red carpets. There was bad weather, rejection, and the constant pressure to make enough money to continue. A stranger approaches the stall. Statham reads the shoes, the watch, the posture. He adjusts the pitch. To one customer, the product is rare. To another, it is a bargain. To another, it is the perfect gift. Without realizing it, he is learning character work. Every sale requires a slightly different version of himself. Every suspicious customer becomes an audience he must convince. The Olympic dream had failed, but the discipline behind it remained. The location had changed from a pool to a pavement, yet he was still repeating a difficult action until it looked effortless. At the time, these years may have felt disconnected
in this film. Yeah, I got a close shave. I'll tell you what happened.
From everything he had built. But lives rarely make sense while we are living them. They make sense in reverse. The body that diving created soon opened another unexpected door. Statham was noticed for modeling work and appeared in campaigns for brands including French Connection. He also appeared in music videos. In one performance for The Shaman's Comin' On, he is almost unrecognizable, covered in body paint, dancing in the background. He later appeared in Erasure's Run to the Sun. It was exposure, but it was not yet a career. He was visible without truly being seen. Then, Guy Ritchie began casting a British crime film titled Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels. Ritchie wanted energy that could not easily be manufactured inside an acting classroom. He needed performers who understood the rhythm of London streets, the confidence, humor, and threat that could exist.
She's just a kid who was in the wrong place at the wrong time. Come on!
Exist in the same sentence. Statham's modeling connections reportedly helped bring him into Ritchie's orbit. But it was his real background that made him valuable. During the audition, Ritchie asked him to sell an item. This is where failure performs its greatest trick. The career Statham had wanted gave him no role in the movie. The life he had been forced to live after losing that career gave him everything. He begins the sales pitch. Guy Ritchie listens. Perhaps Statham senses doubt in the room and adjusts, just as he had done with thousands of customers. Perhaps he makes the object feel exclusive. Perhaps he adds urgency. The deal exists now, not later. The exact conversation has been retold in different forms, but the central truth remains: Statham's genuine market experience helped him win the role. He was cast as Bacon. Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels was released in 1998 and became a major success, establishing Guy Ritchie as an exciting new British filmmaker. For Jason Statham, it was the first controlled landing of his second life. He was not polished in the traditional sense, and that was precisely why he worked. His voice, posture, and presence felt lived in. He did not appear to be imitating toughness. He carried the relaxed alertness of someone who had spent years dealing with unpredictable people. 2 years later, Ritchie cast him again in Snatch. This time, Statham played Turkish, a boxing promoter navigating criminals, gamblers, and an increasingly chaotic underground world. The film placed him alongside established names including Brad Pitt and Benicio del Toro. Statham was no longer simply an unusual casting choice. He had screen presence, But there was still a danger. Hollywood is full of performers who become memorable in one particular type of film and then
Can you get that pump for me? I'm almost done.
disappear. Statham could easily have become the streetwise man from the Guy Ritchie movies, permanently trapped inside supporting roles. He had authenticity, but authenticity alone does not create an international action star. Then came Frank Martin. The Transporter, released in 2002, required a lead actor who could communicate discipline without long speeches. Frank Martin was a professional driver with strict rules, tailored clothing, and a talent for extreme violence. The character needed control. That was something Jason Statham understood. The diving platform returned, only now it took the form of fight choreography, stunt driving, and dangerous falls. A trained diver does not simply jump. He understands momentum. He knows where his limbs are in space. He knows how fear enters the body and how repetition can reduce it. Those instincts became cinematic weapons. Statham trained extensively for the role and performed significant physical work himself. His movements looked different from those of many traditional actors because they came from an athlete's foundation. He did not move like a bodybuilder trying to look dangerous. He moved like someone who trusted his balance. In one transporter fight, oil covers the floor as Frank battles multiple attackers. The sequence becomes part martial arts scene, part physical puzzle. Statham slides, twists, and redirects force while maintaining the character's cold precision. It is entertainment, but beneath it lies the logic of diving. Know where the floor is. Know where the body is. Commit to the movement. Control the landing. The Transporter transformed Statham into an international action lead, but success brought a new risk, being dismissed as another interchangeable tough guy. Instead of running from that image,
No badge. You're gone. I'm gone.
he refined it. He understood what audiences believed when they looked at him. They believed he could drive the car. They believed he could throw the punch. They believed that when he fell, the impact had some connection to reality. He leaned into that trust. In Crank, he played Chev Chelios, a hitman who must keep his adrenaline elevated to survive. The movie moves with the energy of a panic attack, violent, absurd, and almost impossible to slow down. Statham did not treat the insanity as a joke from a safe distance. He committed completely. He ran through streets, fought on moving vehicles, and even filmed dangerous aerial material involving a helicopter. During the making of the Expendables 3, that commitment nearly killed him. While driving a truck during a stunt, the vehicle's brakes reportedly failed. The truck plunged from a dock into the Black Sea. A normal movie version of the story would show
It happens. Next thing you know, I've hit two cameramen. They've literally...
the hero smashing through the windshield at the last possible second while flames rise behind him. Reality was colder. The truck sank. Statham had to escape underwater. Other cast members later described the incident with amazement, emphasizing that his diving ability helped him survive. Think about the full circle of that moment. The sport that appeared to have rejected him, the one that never delivered an Olympic medal, had trained him for a crisis decades later. The field career had not disappeared. It was waiting beneath the surface. Statham escaped the vehicle and returned to work. That does not make every risk sensible, and Statham has acknowledged that stunt work can go seriously wrong, but it explains why his background matters. The action persona was not manufactured entirely by costumes, editing, and marketing. It was built from accumulated experience. The early disappointments also gave him an unusual relationship with
Can you get that pump for me? I'm almost done.
success. He entered acting late compared with many stars and without the expectation that the industry owed him anything. By the time fame arrived, he already understood repetition, rejection, and physical discomfort. He had spent years being judged by numbers, then years being ignored by pedestrians. A harsh film review was not the first difficult score he had ever received. Over the following decades, Statham built one of the most consistent action careers of his generation. He starred in The Mechanic and its sequel, joined Sylvester Stallone and other genre legends in The Expendables, fought enormous prehistoric creatures in The Meg, and brought colder, heavier energy to films such as Wrath of Man. He also proved he could make fun of his own image. In Spy, Statham plays Rick Ford, a hyper-confident agent who describes impossible acts of survival with complete seriousness. The comedy
Kill target on sight.
works because it exaggerates the mythology audiences already associate with him. He is not abandoning the Jason Statham persona. He is allowing the audience to laugh with it. Then came Deckard Shaw. Introduced as a dangerous force within the Fast and Furious franchise, Shaw seemed capable of entering any secure location, surviving any collision, and defeating almost anyone placed in front of him. The character expanded from antagonist to reluctant ally and eventually co-lead of Hobbs and Shaw. By then, Statham had become more than a working actor. He was a global symbol. The shaved head, the clipped voice, the tailored suit, the expression that suggests everyone else in the room has already made a serious mistake. But underneath that recognizable image remains the young athlete who never reached the destination he originally wanted. And that may be the most important part of the story. Success
Who put you up to this?
did not erase the failure. It repurposed it. Consider how different his life might have been had he reached the Olympics. Perhaps he would have remained in diving longer. Perhaps the market years would never have happened. Perhaps Guy Ritchie would have met a former athlete with no ability to perform the language and confidence of a street seller. The achievement Statham wanted might have protected him from the experiences he needed. That is a disturbing possibility because it challenges the way we usually judge our own lives. We call one door success because it is the door we chose. We call everything else a detour. But Statham's detours became the story. Diving gave him discipline and body control. Street trading gave him voice, improvisation, and authenticity. Modeling taught him how to exist in front of a camera. Guy Ritchie gave those ingredients a frame. The Transporter turned them into a brand. And decades of work transformed that brand into a legacy. There is an imagined scene that captures the emotional truth of this journey. An older Jason Statham walks into an empty aquatic center after filming has finished for the day. He stands below a 10-meter platform and looks upward. For a moment, he is not a movie star. He is the young man who believed that platform was the only route toward a meaningful life. He climbs the steps. At the top, there are no judges, no scores, no national team selection, no medal waiting below, only water. He looks down and realizes something the younger version of himself could never have understood. The platform did not fail him. It taught him how to leave it. And maybe that is why audiences continue to believe Jason Statham as an action hero. It is not only because he performs many of his own stunts, or because he spent years learning martial arts and screen fighting. It is because his entire career carries the feeling of a man who has already survived the collapse of one identity. The villains can take the car. They can surround him. They can throw him from a building. But the character always rises because the actor behind him has already experienced a different kind of fall, the slow realization that his first dream was ending. Many people never recover from that moment. Statham built a new life from it, and here's the question worth answering. Which Jason Statham performance best captures what makes him different? The Transporter, Crank, Snatch, Spy, The Fast and the Furious, The Beekeeper, or something else? Share your choice in the comments, because the answer reveals whether you see him primarily as an athlete, an actor, a comedian, or the last true old-school action star. Today, Jason Statham's films have earned billions of dollars around the world. He has worked with some of the biggest names in entertainment and become recognizable in almost every major movie market. Yet his path into acting remains almost impossible to design intentionally. No career advisor would tell an aspiring actor to spend 12 years diving, fail to reach the Olympics, sell jewelry on London streets, model clothing, and then hope an unknown director asks for a sales demonstration. But that impossible sequence created something traditional training might not have produced. It created Jason Statham. His life is not a simple story about refusing to quit. Sometimes quitting or being forced to stop is unavoidable. Bodies age. Industries change. Opportunities disappear. The deeper lesson is that a dream can end without making the years spent pursuing it meaningless. The skills survive. The discipline survives. Even the disappointment can survive as fuel. Statham did not become an action star despite the failed diving dream. In many ways, he became an action star because of everything that dream demanded from him and everything its ending forced him to learn next. When he leaps between buildings, crashes through windows, or disappears beneath the water, the audience sees Frank Martin, Deckard Shaw, or Chev Chelios. But somewhere inside every stunt is the diver. The boy climbing the platform again, the athlete correcting the rotation, the young man learning that fear must be managed before the body leaves solid ground. Jason Statham spent the first part of his life trying to create the perfect dive. He never won the Olympic medal he wanted. Instead, he learned something even more valuable. You cannot always control the fall. You cannot always choose where life throws you. But with enough discipline, courage, and reinvention, you may still control the landing.